Good morning. Feels great to be back after our bye week and a chance to reflect on our last game and move forward. So really a productive last several days with our team before we gave them some time off. Practice Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week. And then I gave them Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then got them back on campus yesterday. Chance to kind of, some kids go home if they could, and get a physical, mental, emotional break for our guys. I thought it was very important for them to do that. Got a lot of good recruiting in with our staff. Sent coaches out on Wednesday, as well as our whole staff on Thursday and Friday, myself included on Thursday and Friday, and was able to cover a lot of ground, a lot of important areas hit, in-state and out-of-state, and able to move on from there. So wrapping up the game from Minnesota, to be able to talk about our guys that performed offensively. Stevie Scott, the player of the game. Defensively, Bryant Fitzgerald, defensive player of the game. And special teams, Logan Justice continues to kick the ball well and had 3 field goals and has done a nice job for us. And then on our younger guys, working with our scouts and the defensive scout players of the week, Aaron Casey and Madison Norris, continue to do a great job, working hard and giving us great effort. And the scouts on our offense, Justin Berry, Connor Thomas, and Bradley Ellis, doing a great job for us. And then special teams scout of the week was Jeremy Boyd. So really appreciate the effort that those guys continue to give us. Really excited about the focus and effort today. Monday practice to start off this week. A little extended practice just because of having more time to prepare for our next opponent. And this coming game against Maryland will be a Hall of Fame weekend here at Indiana. And Glenn Skolnick will be inducted, one of our former receivers, so excited for him to be given this tremendous honor, and then also saluting our service members in this game, and tremendously grateful for and appreciate all that they do, have done, continue to do for our country. So want to make sure we do a great job of honoring them. So looking forward to a very important week for our program and a great opportunity ahead of us as we take on the Maryland Terrapins coming to town here at noon kickoff. Questions?
Coach, Maryland, a team you're very familiar with. Last year you guys had a great battle with them. This year they come in here and a very good vaunted running attack that you're going to face with this. What do you have to do with your defense to shut those guys down? Yes,
Coach Canada, their interim head coach and offensive coordinator, someone who I know well, and as a new system that they brought in, a lot of the same players, a lot of very experienced fifth-year seniors on the offensive line, a lot of really talented, skilled guys. So they've got a plethora of speed and have ran the ball extremely well this entire season. So really, they force you to be extremely disciplined. It's kind of, even though it's not an option offense, the way that they shift, move, adjust, motion, different things that they do, it forces you to be extremely disciplined. If you get out of position, they're very, very athletic, and they can. You make one guy miss, and it's a big play. So they really survive off big plays. It's kind of their the way they've had success this season. So to me, the key is gap integrity, just with our eyes. We've got to be great tacklers.
Coach, is there 2 or 3 things you have to change here in the last quarter to kind of get the W's that you've been missing?
Yeah, to me, just continue to, I just think, as a team, and I know I've said some of these things before, but they don't necessarily change. The bottom line is it's about us finishing key situations. We had there in that fourth quarter once again. We fought our tails off to get back in the game. The team did not quit, showed tremendous fight, and got us in there late in the fourth quarter, and had the score was tied, and got ourselves a chance to force a 3 and out, get a punt, and then have a chance to go take the ball and go score and win the game. And it's about, once again, executing 3rd and 1, chance to be able to keep that drive alive and move in field goal range. And we already made 3 field goals, and would need to get 1 more, and then finishing those scores in the red zone in the first half. Being able to do that, and defensively, just to me, I was just my biggest disappointment really of the whole night defensively was just some poor execution of some fundamental things early on, and even by some of our better players. And guys that we've in our own meetings have challenged and called out and held accountable in those areas, and just making tackles, and finishing, getting guys on the ground and executing your technique, playing with proper technique in those key situations is what it comes down to. I mean, you're going to be able to compete against teams on a given day. You got to be able to execute in those key times, and you got to be able to finish plays. You got to make plays. You got to create separation on offense and get open and catch the ball when you get those contested balls, and be able to. So just continue to focus on that, the details, the little things. Once again, just being able to, even though that last play, the 3rd and 1 play, you have to go back to that and reflect. And they'd ran that exact blitz before, and the guys picked it up and got a good gain, and that time we didn't. And it was the difference between picking it up and being a big gain or not converting at all. So I think that continues to be a focus, and fundamentals, re-emphasis on that last week was big for us, and tackling. Spent a whole day working on that. Even though it wasn't a real physical week, but the fundamentals of that we continue to be focused on, because we're still got to keep developing guys and getting a lot of guys ready to play, and that to me doesn't change. And did some good things up front, but got to finish out that last drive, and so it's just, to me, continuing to keep our guys locked in and keeping them where they need to be mentally, which I feel like we've got some strong leadership that's helped with that. And the guys came in today and had a great focus about them, and that to me is about living out our one word for the year, which is finish. And that to me is a continual challenge, and coming here against a team that's has won 5 games already and is looking to get their 6th win, and has done some good things amidst some difficult circumstances. So once again, opportunity for us to come out here and turn things around for our season and get a whole different feeling for our program.
With the redshirt rule in these last 3 games here, are there any freshmen that you want to see get on the field? And I guess if so, which ones?
Yeah, I believe so. And James Miller, we'd had planned to play him against Minnesota, and he did. He played, and then he was injured in the first play of the game, and so hope to get him back and be able to allow him to get valuable reps. And a guy like so Jonathan King's another one that just sticks out to me. Mass Norris, another guy. We're trying to get a chance to play on some special teams and also get some reps when the situations warrant themselves. I think even special teams wise, Christian Paycheck's the guy we're continuing to work in there and get some reps at those opportunities. And the guys that haven't played, even Noah Pierre's another one we're working in on special teams as well. And so I think those guys are candidates for getting some shots to play. And we just continue to see who steps up during the week and proves to us that they are, putting themselves in position, and that's what these guys have been able to do. So those guys I mentioned, I would like to get them involved in the game. Yes.
This is Vadley's first year as team chaplain. I know the first time he came and talked to you guys was last year before the Maryland game. I guess how much have you seen him grow in this role? And from that first time he spoke to now, and kind of what went into the process of picking him to be your guys' next team chaplain?
Yeah, he Vadley is our chaplain and through FCA, and just does a tremendous job. It's about relationships, and he does a good job of building those with our players, and it takes time to do that. He came in, as you mentioned, a year ago and spoke to our guys without knowing any of them, and being able to come in here, and he's at all the practices, and he's at our workouts, and works out with them a lot of times as far as just himself, wanting to do it on his own and just be around our guys, and just building it, and have a resource for guys to come and talk to. Things happen in players' lives, and just this past weekend we had a young man lose his grandmother, and those are tough times for guys, and be able to somebody they can just connect with and spend time with, and help them grow, and the emotional side of things, mental side of things, spiritual side of things, and that's his role. And so just really pleased. You go through and you interview. It's like any other position on your staff, and you bring people in, you talk to them, and you try to see who's a great fit for what you want, and you map out what you see the vision for that position is, and how you see that impacting your team. And the staffs I've been on, those guys have really played a major role in helping our guys with things that matter, outside of football and ultimately in their lives. And so Bad's done a great job doing that, and we'll continue to build those relationships.
Coach, with the going back to the bye week, just who are some players that you felt like really benefited from it, whether they were healthy or maybe been banged up a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that's the big part of it. T.D. Roof's the guy that we've been trying to get back. I think he really benefited. Great to see him out there today and getting back to his normal self. I think with Marcelino being out, missing a big chunk of the game, and having some time to get him back, I think he's going to really benefit from that. as well. I think, just all of our guys that got dinged up, that's really, you couldn't really, a lot of times those situations are the only thing to really get them healthy is rest. And that's tough to do when you're trying to get ready for another one, So those two guys jump out to me. I think some of our younger guys too. I just continue. Gab McCabe's a guy, defensive lineman. He's a true freshman that really continues to develop and grow. And all those reps you get, we got a lot of chance to get those guys a lot more time. With our units. Reese Taylor got a lot of reps at quarterback. That was extremely important for us to have that. Really kind of gave a chance to rest Peyton and get his body healed up, and let him rest his arm, rest everything, And so we really saw Reese get a lot of work in during those 3 practices, So I think that was critical, and it's getting our receiver core healthy. And Peyton Hendershot, got to get him back. He's another one. He was back out there today, so that was big to see him and get him back there moving around. And so that bye week was huge for him as well, and get our offensive line guys healthy, D-line healthy. And Raycron's continuing to work hard to get back, and his diagnosis was better than we expected, so which is good. So he's working hard to get his body back right. So I think all those guys, benefited and allow them to heal up and be ready for a strong finish.
Just as a follow-up on that, specifically about Jake Robinson, is he going to be ready to go, do you think?
Yeah, he's another one that with the time to continue to rehab and work hard and get his leg to where we feel like it can and be effective. We're trying to – a big thing with him is you want to make sure that he's, not going to put himself in a position that we would, further hurt him, so and our doctors feel good about that. But, yeah, I think just another week of doing what he's been doing helps him. And he's a guy that provides so much leadership for our team, and whether he's in the game or not in the game. And so we're trying to get him more reps this next weekend, and compared to what we did before, it was only a few times. And so I think each time he'll get more and more. And yeah, I like to see him get back to, as much full strength as possible.
Coach, you mentioned Reese Taylor getting some extra reps. Are you going to be able to use him in conjunction to complement Peyton, or is he too valuable as the backup quarterback right now?
That's kind of the tough balance, and we're still going to use him on offense. Yes, you have to be you play that game with that. He's still one of our more explosive guys that you want to get involved, and so I would say yes with caution, and so that's really kind of the tough dilemma that you're in at the same time, but you gotta go, and to me it's about understanding what's at stake and where we're at and what we need to do, and so I think you gotta put it all out there as best you can.